One thing that I love about the comic books is their flawless logic, like how you can be a powerless human and go against a god. But to be honest, you are also bold, and being bold does have its power ups. Or Batman as a whole. Being a powerless human and go against the most dangerous beings in the whole world, no, the whole universe, like Darkseid or any other powerful villain, but something that I cannot understand. One thing that I cannot fathom is why people are still living in Gotham. It, it's beyond me. In all these other cities, you have supervillains, yes, but you have the likes of Flash in Central City, Superman in Metropolis, Green Lantern in Coast City, and etc. But in Gotham, where the villains seem to be 100 times more dangerous, who do you have? A schizophrenic billionaire who hasn't gotten over the death of his parents dressed as a bat, protecting you. The guy clearly needs therapy, and I'm trusting this guy with my life? Him and the incompetent GCPD, which half of the force is corrupt and will take the side of the attackers instead of the victims. I'm taking the next train to jolly old good Metropolis. When I started, Arkham Knight and Scarecrow gave his whole warning about him with his whole chemical warfare thing. I was surprised that there were any people to evacuate in the first place. Everybody died from all the day-to-day attacks or they moved out, is what my dumbass thought. And the residents of Gotham must have thought, Mashallah, at least we got a warning before the attack started. Because when this kind of shit happens, they seldom get a warning, and when they do, it's something very cryptic that only the world's greatest detective could solve. Children sometimes are like, oh my gosh, I wish I could be in Arkham. I wish I could move to Arkham and see the Batman every day. Slow down. Kids are very stupid, we know that. And I'm gonna point out all the reasons why you mustn't move to Gotham City. And first point and largest one is the villains. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you'll get a goofy-ass cartoony villain, such as the Condiment King or Killer Moth or Polka Dot Man. Villains who, I would say, engage in a minuscule amount of tomfoolery. Most of the times, the residents aren't so lucky. The luckiest thing that can happen to you is a casual run-in with a mugger who just wants some money, some valuables, and then he'll be on his merry way, and you won't get shot. Well, as we previously talked about Arkham Knight, I wanna talk Scarecrow. This is a man who is a doctor, by the way, dresses up as a scarecrow and engages in chemical warfare. Living in close proximity to a person like that would be 10 times worse than living next to Ted Kaczynski. You say that there's an individual who acts this way, and I'm considering moving to anywhere else, even to Blood Haven. And you can be a victim of that crime. I mean, any time. You just have to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and bam! Now, serial killers in the city? Well, you've got plenty of those. You got Pennywise the clown, but a serial killer. Well, I guess the same, but this clown prince of crime drinks anarchy while Pennywise the clown drinks children's blood. I guess the Joker does that too. You got John Pork, but a serial killer who mutilates people and turns them into his puppets. You got Caillou as a serial killer who tallies his victims of his skin. And let me tell you, that's a lot of tally marks that he just got in his body. I don't know, he must have taken like half the city bag right now. And you got a serial killer who's obsessed with calendars. Now, I read that somewhere along your life, you will encounter like 7 serial killers on average.
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
But you know, since it's Gotham, we can triple that number, and there's a 45% chance that you'll encounter one of them. Well, I guess you better pack your bags, because the worst part is that the clown serial killer is not only a serial killer. You got he also engages in acts of terrorism. Yep. You also got another terrorist whose name is Anarchy, although I don't know what's up with this dude, and the serial larcenist by the name of Firefly, which depends on who he is on the issue, but his name is Garfield Lynch. And you may think, it's fine, these individuals appear once in a blue moon. I'm sure I'm perfectly safe. Well, think again. These people are not getting the electric chair. There's no death penalty for them. And the clown in a batsuit captures them and locks them away in Arkham Asylum. Excuse my notification, that's so unprofessional of me. Only for them to escape, and then they go in the murder spree, and then Batman locks them away in Arkham Asylum, and then they break out, and the cycle repeats over and over and over. Eventually, it's gonna be your ass on the line of sight of one of these criminals. The psycho killers in Gotham sure are repeating offenders. You also have the villains who do intimidating stuff, like the Riddler. But Blood sounds like a Redditor.
Me? I'm the Riddler. I'm not racist. I'm out here to solve the mother of all riddles. Riddle me this before you go. I am loud and obnoxious. I like music that rhymes. I'm a fraction of the population, but commit half the crimes. Who am I?
But his schemes are always big, and there are a lot of casualties because of set plans. But I feel like if you give him a shower, you are all good. Then the intimidating but methodical villains like Two-Face and Penguin, who are just crime bosses, whom as long as you stay out of their business and pay your protection money, you are good. And if Two-Face wants to kill you, you have a 50% chance of winning the coin toss. Just have to make sure to win it though. But if you can't pay protection money because you have kids to feed, then go live in another city or be at the mercy of street dogs and serial killers. That's my point. Why live in a city where half your money goes to rent and the other half to mafia bosses? Just live in Central City, where that 100% goes down to 75-80%. and you save some money instead of none. And if you can't pay your rent, well, I guess it's better to be homeless in a central city or in metropolis than having an apartment in Gotham. And if Gotham doesn't sound bad enough, then have the knowledge that there's a street called Crime Alley, which is infamous because it's where the murders of Thomas and Martha Wayne took place. But I can relate. Uh, as there's a neighborhood in my city called The Killing, and my grandma lives there, and she says that it's very dangerous, and I can say that it is very dangerous, and lots of people are getting shot and robbed. Well, I guess robbed and shot. So the situation in Gotham is pretty bad if you are part of the lower class and middle class. But you'll be fine, since you are part of the 1%, you think to yourself. First off, if you're rich as hell, then you can afford not to live in Gotham. And even if you are rich there, you are not safe. God knows that the Waynes weren't. Plus, the city seat the rich mentality is insane. And if you are rich, means that you have valuables. And if you have them, Catwoman is coming for them. But Catwoman is hot, so maybe it's worth it? I guess. Well, if you're a rich CEO of a mega company that puts the environment at risk, then you will certainly meet the wrath of a superpower bioterrorist Poison Ivy, and that's barely it. Do not make any enemies up there, because chances are that one of them is rich enough to hire Deathshot or Deathstroke to take you out of the picture. And if that wasn't scary enough, then let me get to the secret society that is running the whole show. I'm talking about the Court of Owls, Gotham's version of the Freemasons. It's like Ice White Shot minus Tom Cruise. Well, I never watched the movie, but I bet both in there and in the Court of Owls, they have orgies, as do many cults. They run the city from the shadows, and if you try to do things your way and not theirs, or if you get in their way, there will be some consequences. If you have no problems with that, think about the homeless. If you don't give them money, then they will unleash upon you all those martial arts that they learned by watching Batman beat up so many criminals in back alleys. Also, watch out for the crackheads. But instead of being addicted to crack, these motherfuckers are addicted to Scarecrow's fear toxin. Now that shit goes hard. Crackhead strength or meth head strength. But I don't wanna think about the strength that the motherfuckers who just inject themselves with Scarecrow's fear toxin have. I mean, you have to be tough as shit to go do that. And the last note, there's a guy with a skin condition. You are familiar with a Killer Croc who lives in the sewers and eats people. But if you live in Florida or in Louisiana, somewhere in the middle of a swamp, then you are used to it. In conclusion, Gotham is the worst city to live in the DC universe. If you're a civilian, you are basically cannon fodder. with all the serial killings, terror attacks, man-eating mutants, and an incompetent and corrupt police force. And your best bet that staying alive is a schizophrenic dude dressed as a bat and his merry band of orphans, then why live there? Move to Metropolis, where your protector is basically God, and the biggest villain there is Jeff Bezos and Tin Man, and not a serial killer clown from the Devil's Rejects. Or move to Central City, where his protector is the fastest man alive and will get there faster than the Popo, so your chances of survival are 99.998%. And the villains there are quirky, so you'll be terrified, but you will also have a lot of fun. My last point is that Gotham has such a bleak atmosphere, and other cities do not. So Gotham is like London, all grey and depressive, always raining and cold and dangerous. You will get stabbed in both those places for sure. While Central City is like Singapore, warm, futuristic, relatively safe, and you're just balling there. I would rather be homeless in Singapore than Elon Musk rich in London. But that's just me. Well, this video is over, but this conversation surely isn't over, as I'm gonna do a part 2 in where I will try to fix all of Gotham's problems, or do my best at it. Well, this was a lot of fun for me, and if you're still sticking around, thanks. Thanks, Dick. I appreciate it. So if you like this video and you want to see a part 2, then you know what to do. Well, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you later, for my monthly upload. Thank you.